OpenAI just launched GPT 5.5, and many people are now saying that this beats out Claude Opus 4.7 as the best coding model available right now. But they also quietly released some updates to their Codex app that make this the ultimate AI agent. In this video, I'm going to show you some of the amazing things that GPT 5.5 along with Codex can do to give you some insane workflows and optimize almost everything you do in your personal life and your business. You're not going to want to miss this, so let's jump right in. So let's start with the coding side of things. I'm going to show you some examples here as to what it can do from a coding perspective. And then a little later on, I'm going to actually jump into Codex and I'm going to show you all the amazing things it can do as an AI agent. So some really cool examples here I've gathered on X, at Mark Gadala on X, if you want to shoot me a follow there and see this stuff first. But basically, as a coding model, it's really, really powerful. As you can imagine, most people are now preferring this over Opus 4.7 that I'm seeing in my tests. I'm finding it to be at least as good as Opus 4.7 and definitely cheaper and a little bit more efficient from a token perspective. So first cool example here, somebody created their own version of a like Pokemon style game. We've seen a lot of this stuff, but pretty cool to see. You can now basically just create your own, NES, Game Boy games, pretty quickly just using Codex and GPT 5.5. So he's having a fight here with Banana Man and the band boss is maxing. And so this is pretty cool. The other really cool thing you can do that I've been seeing online is create these full 3D assets. So somebody's basically using Codex to create 3D assets using images. So they upload an image and then just have it create these 3D assets, which is pretty sweet, as you can see here. And again, at the end, I'm kind of show you how this works. So you can basically use all these plugins with Codex. But let's go through a few more examples here. So here's a web design example. And a lot of these are actually combined with GPT image 2. And that's the really cool thing about Codex, right? It uses the latest image models and their latest coding models, and it kind of mixes them all together to give you the best of both worlds. And I mean, right now, GPT does have the best image model, and they do have the best coding model. So putting those together is actually really, really powerful. I don't think any AI right now has those two combined or has ever had those two combined. So having them both in the same place is really awesome. We've seen these kind of 3D physics before. You can see here it like blows this thing away. This is an example I see all the time. And again, this is what I keep seeing, that it actually beats Opus 4.7 on the coding benchmarks. So anecdotally, it seems to be better from what I'm seeing online, and from some of my tests, I do find it to be very good. And then obviously these benchmarks are awesome. Another game here. So a lot of coding tests you'll notice are games. And the reason for this, number one, games go more viral, right, than other things, right? People like to see video games. So if you want to go viral on X, a lot of people will just create these little video games. But another reason is that it kind of shows you how complex a model can get, right? So solving really hard math problems is a little bit different than actually creating like 3D games, right? These 3D games I've seen from my testing as these models get better and better, like some of the earlier like GPT-4 games that would come out were just not great, right? But this kind of little like, just this example right here, this tank UFO shooter, this is basically some of the best stuff that I've seen out of like a one-shot, game being produced by AI models, right? This was one shot according to Pietro, sorry. Was able to create this. So another example here, Opus 4.7 versus GPT 5.5, another kind of Pokemon game, another popular example here. You can see that it did a lot better. This is another benchmark I see a lot is Minecraft. So another like Minecraft version here, and this is definitely the best one that I've seen so far. So another really cool benchmark there. We have a Doom style game here, which is pretty cool. And the other cool thing is that you can actually use it to generate like the sprites for these games. So like the little visual cues for the games. There's a little train game that Riley built here. Pretty cool stuff. I'm going through these kind of quickly because I do want to show you the examples and actually how to use this at the end. So this one I thought was pretty cool. So they coded it in Codex, right? So they actually coded the game in Codex. They had Codex play the game in the browser because you can use browser using Codex. And then they had it make real-time changes while playing the game. So if there was something that would break in the game, it would have real-time changes. You can see here. So it's actually it's playing the game and making changes at the same time. Pretty freaking cool. So this is another cool game they built where they took GPT image 2 to create these like observatory style things, so like create a panorama of anything. They just type it in and it creates this super large panorama style image. And of course, some more Pokemon here as well. So another cool game example I just want to show you real quick. This is probably the best game example I've seen so far. Again, this is all GPT, GPT image, GPT 5.5, and Codex all coming together to make a pretty awesome game here. So you can, like I said, you can go to my X here at Gadala. You can see this thread, and you can follow these people if you want to see. There's links to all of their accounts here if you want to see more of this stuff. So let's get into some of the more interesting things that Codex can do now outside of coding. So this is really cool. This is the browser control. So it can now use this built-in browser within Codex to actually go and do tasks for you, right? So not only can it go and like debug your app, right, or debug your website that you're building, right, and actually go through and test out what you're building, but it can also do tasks for you online, which is pretty cool. The other cool thing it can do is actually create these spreadsheets for you. So you can actually set it up to create spreadsheets based on data that you're giving it, and it'll actually create like Excel spreadsheets with the kind of equations that you need within the spreadsheets. I know that Excel is one of the most used pieces of software on the planet. So a lot of like Excel people are going to go absolutely nuts for this. And I can just see so many different applications for this: business applications, personal applications, accounting applications. I mean, this can just go absolutely crazy. And it can also control your computer. So it can take full access of your computer. It can open your browser, it can open your notes, and it can start doing cool things like that. I'm pretty sure computer use is limited only to Mac right now. So you are going to need a Mac for computer use. But my guess is that this will come to Windows systems down the line at some point. But you can see here, it's controlling the browser, it's adding notes, right? So it's taking notes for you. So you could literally make a coffee, tell it to go check the latest news and give you some notes on the latest things that are happening in the world, and it'll literally go do that for you. Really, really cool stuff. One cool thing this guy did, this is Nick Dobos on X here. He actually had computer use control his iPhone. So he used iPhone Mirror on his MacBook to actually control his X account on his iPhone. So this is actually pretty wild because like the X API is really expensive. I use it all the time, and the X API is super pricey. So if I can get ChatGPT or Codex to use my X account on my phone, right, or an X account on my phone, do research for me on like, you know, the top posts on X and a certain thing, because X is so much more real time than if I go to like news websites. So if I'm getting like the latest AI stuff directly from my X account, and I have Codex taking notes on that and like grabbing some of the latest stuff just to do some kind of research for me, because I'm so deep in the AI world right now that I spend a lot of time doing this myself. I mean, this is a huge win for me. So I'm definitely going to try this out and see how this works. I mean, just the idea that you can control your iPhone from your MacBook using Codex is just absolutely mind-blowing. So really cool stuff there. And then this is their release where they kind of go through all the stuff that it does. So again, it can control your browser, right? It can basically do designs for you and all this kind of stuff. So you know what? Let's jump right in. I don't want to keep wasting time on these videos. I kind of want to just jump in and show you how this works. So if you haven't already, if you want to start using this, go to ChatGPT/Codex. And just download it. So I'm using a Windows PC here. I'm pretty sure /Codex will get you there as well. Yeah. So just go to chatgpt.com/Codex. I'll put a link to this in the description as well, just in case you need that. But that's basically it. Just go ahead and download it. I think you need a pro account. So I do have a pro account right now. It's like $20 a month. I don't know for sure you need a pro account, but I think you do if you want to use it. I think if you want to use like the real deal models, like 5.5 high and stuff like that, right? So if I go to new chat, this is where I can basically start with anything I want, right? So you're going to see it has default permissions, auto review, and then full access, right? So this is, if you give it full access, it'll have full access over your entire computer. So actually, I take back what I said earlier. This looks like it does work on Windows, which is actually extremely exciting. I'm not going to do this right now. I don't trust Codex to go through my whole computer right now. I'm going to do this on another laptop I have that doesn't have as much sensitive stuff on it. Um, but I am going to test this out. If you want to see me do that, drop a comment and I'll do a full computer access video later on. So if you want to see me do that, drop a comment. And actually, anything you want to see me do here, drop a comment for sure. So you can select the model that you want to use here. So obviously, we're going to do 5.5. We can go all the way up to extra high with the understanding that this will burn more tokens if we use extra high. And of course, we can ask it to start building us an app, setting up an agent, whatever we want, right? But the really cool stuff I want to show you again is with these plugins, right? So let's go to browser use. So these are the plugins that you can set up here, right? So you can see it's literally as simple as just coming here and clicking plus next to the plugin, right? So I can install a Versal plugin here. Right? So I can go ahead and do that. So this app's unavailable for some reason, but I could install that. I could install a superpower app here, which is pretty cool. And basically these are third-party apps, but they're also native apps. So a lot of these are built by the OpenAI team, but some of these are third-party apps. But I can build iOS apps. I can build web apps. I can build games, right? We have a full game studio here now, which is so freaking cool. This is something I've been wanting to see from AI for so long, an actual game studio. Drop a comment if you want to see me do a full game video as well, where I make a full game using Codex. I think I'm going to do that either way, but drop a comment. Let me know if you want to see that. We can do code reviews. I mean, you can just see, right, how extensive this is. We get into design here. I can search, create, edit designs on Canva, which is insanely cool. Figma. I can even do hyperframes, which is actually HTML videos, which is really, really cool. So just tons of options that you have here, right? Productivity, I can create documents. I can have it go through my calendar. I can have it read my Gmail. Insanely cool. I can have it work across my Google Drive. I can have it create invoices for me on Stripe. I can have it go to my ClickUp and update tickets on ClickUp. I can have it go through Notion and research workflows. I mean, this is like endless. So like this is, at this point, you have premier AI systems connected to everything that you use, including your computer. If you can't find ways to get productive with this, I don't know what you're waiting for. I mean, this is the ultimate tool for productivity and growth right now. And if you don't do this, somebody else will, just so that you know. So you need to get on this like ASAP, seriously. And I'm talking to myself too, because I feel like I, as deep as I am in the AI world, feel like I'm behind sometimes because these things happen so fast. So let's get into some of the examples of what Codex can do. And here's just one of the few examples that I want to show you right now. I asked it to use the spreadsheet plugin, and I said, create a spreadsheet with the 10 best performing stocks in the last month and make columns for the most relevant financial details. Now, it did a lot of thinking for this task, and it ran a bunch of different commands, but essentially what it did was exactly what I asked. It went and it looked up the top performing stocks the last month, gave us the monthly gain, what sector they're in, the ticker, and it created this spreadsheet for us, which we can now download and actually look through just right here within Codex. You can see all the different tabs that it gave us here, the sources of where it found it, and yeah, it did a great job. So you can see how much time this could save you from a productivity standpoint. Now, if we go to some of the gaming aspects, this one is insanely cool. So I used the Game Studio plugin, which I showed you earlier. And what you can do with this, I literally told it to build me a simple 2D Mega Man style game. It started asking me a bunch of questions. I said, just build it. The game worked, but it kind of looked really ugly. So I said, the physics are good, but the graphics are terrible. Make some beautiful sprite style graphics for the map, hero, enemies, and all the elements in the game, and show me the images so I can approve them, and then you'll code them into the game. So what I wanted Codex to do was use GPT Image 2 to create some beautiful assets for our new game, which we could then code into the game. And it did exactly that. It created these beautiful assets for us. I thought they looked great. So I said, awesome, now integrate these into the game. And boom, it went ahead and integrated them. There was one issue where after it worked, some of the items kind of had like a black background and the characters too. So I said some of them still have a black background, and it fixed that issue. Check out how awesome this game is. It made this game literally in like 5 minutes. just with those few prompts I gave it. This is so freaking cool. And the game works. I mean, you have life, you can pick things up, you can extend your life. You have to fight these bad guys. It's super cool. And obviously you could create more maps. I just did this in a few minutes. You could make this a full-fledged game if you wanted to. So the game studio works really, really well. Again, this was just a few minutes. It really didn't take long at all. So another thing that I did was have it draft some inbox replies for me. So I used the Gmail plugin. So there's a Gmail plugin. So when you use the Gmail plugin, you have to connect your Gmail account. I actually didn't want to use my real Gmail account for this. So I used a separate Gmail account. And basically what it did was go through and created a draft on literally all of my emails. You can see here. Thanks for the hi PDF filler team. Thanks for the welcome email. I'll review the trial and the document tools, then decide whether to continue the service. Like nobody actually responds to this as it's a no reply email, but I gave it a super general command, right? I basically said, go through my inbox and draft replies for each email. So it went ahead and did that for me. And you can see it did that for literally all of these new emails I have here. Thanks for the onboarding materials. I'll review the feature walkthrough. It's pretty nice, right? So obviously I did something super general here, but you could basically say, go look up all the emails from Maria and see if she ever mentioned XXX, right? And or go reply to everyone in this area. You could just get super creative with this and have it review your emails and do a bunch of different stuff. It can also connect to your calendar. It can connect to a ton of different things. So just a small example of what it can do from a productivity standpoint, right? To be able to do stuff like that. So the last thing I want to show you is its ability to create spreadsheets. So this is the presentations plugin. So I wanted it to make a beautiful presentation on Jabba the Hutt and how he's a merciful leader. So it came up with this proposed deck design and it started to ask me questions. I just said, just do it, man. You know, just get this thing done. And it did exactly that. It created a full PDF presentation on the mercy of Jabba the Hutt. It even used GPT image 2 to make this image of Jabba the Hutt, which I thought was actually really cool. Pretty sweet image. And Jabba is selectively merciful. Mercy, Hutt style, is not forgiveness. It is the decision to keep someone alive long enough for the lesson, debt, or entertainment value to mature. He listens before he liquefies. He converts conflict into terms. He makes discipline legible to the room, and he prefers useful captives to useless corpses. The palace is chaos with upholstery, debtors, bounty hunters, quarters. So it's pretty funny. So I went ahead and created this whole spreadsheet for me. Now this is just me having fun, right? But you could see where you could take this, right? You could basically upload all kinds of materials and have it create spreadsheets for you. You could do a mix of all of this, right? You could say, go to my emails, find this information, create a spreadsheet from that information that you found in my emails, then take that and convert that into a presentation as well, put that into a nice email and send it to this person. So you could have it go connect to all of these different things and do a fully complex task like that, right? So the possibilities, again, are really endless here. It's basically your imagination is a limitation, right? It has all these extensions, all these different things you can do. And I'm just scratching the surface here, right? There's so many different things you can do with this. So I encourage you to go check this out. Try Codex, try it for yourself. Definitely drop a comment. Let me know what you think about this. Let me know what you think about where AI is going in general. And if you like this kind of video, definitely subscribe to the channel. I make a ton of tutorials just like this, and I'm going to keep making them for you. So subscribe to the channel if you want to see more, and like this video because it really does help me out a lot.